Tom Brown's Schooldays. 1.
Tom Brown was a kind and happy boy. He was also quite naughty and mischievous at times. He lived with his parents in the English countryside. Tom enjoyed playing with the other boys in his village. At first, Tom went to one boarding school, but later his father sent him to another boarding school. It was in Rugby. Tom felt proud when he saw his new school had such big sports fields. A boy called East became friends with Tom on his first day at school. East advised Tom what clothes to wear. He also warned Tom that sometimes older boys bully the younger ones. He said that the bullies come to the dormitories at night. "The bullies like to toss you in the air using a blanket. It won't really hurt unless you fall on the floor," East said. The school's biggest bully was a boy called Flashman. That night, Flashman and some of his friends came to the dormitory. The bullies pulled a small boy from his bed. "Please don't toss me, Flashman," one small boy cried. "I will be your servant and do errands for you. Please don't hurt me," he said. Some of the small boys hid under their beds, but Tom and East didn't. East was then tossed in the blanket. He was thrown high up in the air, and he landed in the blanket. Tom was tossed next. Tom was about to cry out when he hit the ceiling. He was glad when the tossing finished. But Flashman wasn't happy. He only liked it when he made the boys scream. Suddenly, footsteps could be heard outside the door. Flashman stopped his bullying, and everyone went to sleep. In spite of such an incident, Tom enjoyed doing errands for the older boys. Often he would deliver messages for them. He also cleaned their rooms and brought food and drinks to them. One day, Tom went out with his friends, East and Hall, to play. The boys liked to pretend they were dogs or hares. The dogs would chase the hares. The three boys came back to school late. They had to report to the headmaster. The boys were afraid because they were late for supper. Tom thought it was stupid of them to go to the headmaster looking so dirty, but they had no choice. The boys thought they would be punished. The headmaster might beat them. The headmaster surprised them. He was very kind. The headmaster told the boys to wash themselves and then go to the kitchen to eat some meat and bread. "After you've cleaned up and eaten, please go to bed," the headmaster said. The three boys felt that they were very lucky. Tom had thought that they would receive some kind of punishment. When Tom returned to Rugby School for the new term, there were about 40 boys in his class. Some of them liked to play tricks on the teachers and on each other. They often had to do errands for the big boys. Tom saw younger boys being bullied. "Deliver this message for me or I will beat you," the big boys would say. Flashman and his friends were the worst bullies. One night, while Tom and East were in the study room, Tom said, "Flashman is a coward. I will not do any errands for him." Just then they heard Flashman screaming, "Slave, come here now!" Tom locked the door. East blew out the candles.